This content is the property of Put It Out There TV, also known as p.i.o.t TV, a property of the House of Yasharallah El Trust. If you are viewing and or listening to this content on a non-p.i.o.t TV branded platform, then we kindly ask that you stop and flag this content for copyright infringement. Thank you.
Actually a part of Moorish culture. So that's what this video is about, and we're going into that by utilizing Moorish Hebrew. All right, so the word that we started focusing on was ben. So in a lot of the Moorish culture, I guess you could say what we've had a lot of contact with, you'll hear Arabs, Osama bin Laden, right, or Muhammad bin Muhammad, or Yeshua ben Yosef. So ben means son, son of, and actually it's kind of a connotative meaning. So we're going to get into the denotation of it using Moorish Hebrew etymology, and then we're going to, by utilizing that, we're going to be able to show that Masonry is a part of Moorish culture. All right, so basically how I started the video off, we were saying how Masonry, just basic Masonry, deals with building up something, an edifice, whether it's a house or it's a tent or a building for you to do business in, or building up the divine temple of man. It's all Masonry because it's based off of building. So that's where we got into the word son, because the word son means, and we'll go into it, it means in Hebrew, in Arabic, the word son is ben. So Osama bin means Osama bin Laden, Osama, son of Laden. And it goes on to say that it means to build. Son means build. Then it goes on to say tent panel. Then it goes on to say intelligence. And we're going to get into that because we're building right now, right? This right here, what we're doing right now, you interacting with me, putting this information out, this is building. You see what I'm saying? So right now what we're doing is Masonry, right? So it says the pictograph bet, which is the first letter in the word ben, is a picture of a tent. A tent has to be built, it has to be put up. It says the noon, which is the second letter in ben, which is the N sound, is a picture of a sprouting seed and represents continuity as the seed continues the next generation. The combined meaning of these letters mean the continuing of the house. And again, what happens? A house has to be built. It says the tent was constructed or built of woven goat hair. Over time, the sun bleaches and weakens the goat hair. So that's just getting into showing you the things they use to build the house, build the tent. So let's go on. Then we go on to the second definition. We go on to ben. It says tent panel. There are many similarities between building a tent out of goat hair panels and the building of a house out of sons. Do you see that? So again, this is the ancient Hebrew lexicon of the Bible. This is much better than utilizing like a concordance. All right. So this is another way. So here you go. This is where you get just a glimpse of Freemasonry building being a part of our culture from jump. So we can see here, son means to build. Son is a tent panel. Son means to understand, right? Because in order to get to understanding, we got to build. You see what I'm saying? So knowledge, wisdom, understanding. And I'm kind of giving you a hint before I even get, because this word ben son is deep. It's deep. All right, I see we got another viewer. Peace and love. Thank you for viewing the content. If you can, it does not matter. Give me a thumbs down or give me a thumbs up. It's all good as long as you're interacting with the content. I appreciate you for being here. Okay, so we see here that son means tent panel. Tent panel, that's the second definition. It says there are many similarities between building a tent out of goat hair panels and the building of a house out of sons. The idea of building a house with sons can be seen in Genesis 33. So Genesis chapter 30, verse 3. So let's go to that. I wasn't even planning on going into the scriptures that way, but since we're utilizing this Masonic Bible. This was a Bible we were able to get out of a European's lodge some years ago. Shouts out to my cousin. So we're gonna go into Genesis chapter 30, verse 3. All right, so we see that a sun is building, right? So Genesis chapter 30, verse 3. That's deep. And then, yeah, I might have to go into, so, okay, so we see here that a sun is building. We know that masonry is building, right? So it told us to go into Genesis 30, verse 3 real quick. So let's see here. It says, and she said, behold, my maid Bilhah, go into her, and she shall bear into my knees that I may have, do I got the right one? Children by her. But it doesn't say nothing about house. So I must have to find this in the Hebrew scriptures. Okay. Anyway, we'll have to go into that on a deeper. We'll go into that. Give me a second here because we get more viewers. Peace and love. I appreciate the viewers. Let me get these Hebrew scriptures real quick because we're going to validate that Freemasonry is a part of Moorish culture. Give me a second. Okay. Woo. Okay. This dang study area, I tell you, is a mess. So we can go into Genesis. All right. So we got to go into Genesis because it's saying here in the Moorish Hebrew lexicon. It says here in the Moorish Hebrew lexicon for all the new viewers. It says there are many similarities between building a tent out of goat hair panels and the building of a house out of suns. So we know masonry is building, right? We know masonry is building. We know that in Moorish Hebrew, they're focusing on suns being a part of building a house. So let's go here. They told us to go to Genesis chapter 30, verse 3. So what I'm in right now here, this is a interlinear Bible. This right here is Hebrew, English, and Greek. This is how it breaks it down. So if y'all ever really want to get into the scriptures outside of a dogmatic point of view, not like being like super duper religified, and you really want to get into like the scriptures, I suggest you get you a good old interlinear Bible that's Hebrew, Greek, and English all together. That's what I would suggest. So some of y'all be like, what should I study? Study some of these scripts, okay? The Haleo-Biblio text, as they say, but get it in its original text as possible. All right, so let's go ahead to Genesis chapter 30, verse 3, like it said. Okay, so it says Genesis chapter 3, verse 30, and she said, behold, my servant Bilhah, go into her and let her bear on my knees, and let me be built up from her, me also. Okay, see, that's why, you see, I told y'all, that's why you have to find the actual Hebrew translations as close as possible into the English from the Hebrew, because this King James Bible just didn't do me no damn justice whatsoever. What did I say? I probably have to find it in the Hebrew translations in order to be able to get the word built in there. So Rachel is saying, in order for you to build up my house, I want you to take my maid servant Bilhah. You see what I'm saying? Masonry building is a part of Moorish culture. Let's keep going on. Wow. Let's keep going on. Okay, so we are back to the Hebrew lexicon again. If anybody is interested, This is the Ancient Hebrew Lexicon of the Bible by Jeff Benner. I've had this book for years. So let's keep going in on the word son, because we're focusing on son. Because I've heard Elder Taj Tariq Bey used to say Masonry is the mothers and the sons, right? The mothers and the sons. He said Masons mean mother and son. So what happens here in this scripture that you just saw me read, which was a better translation into the English than the King James, it specifically had the mother, Rachel, saying, let me be built up through her, because she was trying to have a son. So she's saying, let you go ahead and have my sons through her, because that's in certain more